Oh, hey everybody, it's Saturday afternoon, July 27th. Let's just jump right into my review of 1991's Barton Fink, written and directed. Well, it's a Coen Brothers film. And I remember seeing it on cable back in the 90s, and I think I just automatically knew or felt it was a Coen Brothers film. And watching it again, I hadn't seen it, really since then, I don't think, because I always thought, it's probably kind of boring. It's not, doesn't have monsters or it's not action. It's just, but it's great. Turns out, still, it's even better than when I watched it before. John Turturro is fantastic. John Goodman is fantastic together. Great. I mean, they both had long careers. I haven't seen all of John Goodman's but he's so good in here. He's just like a normal dude. I feel sorry for him. He's like an insurance salesman, door-to-door insurance salesman. Seems like he tries to keep up a happy facade, but he's like really sad inside. And Barton Fink is just he's a writer. He wrote a Broadway play that was like a smash hit. So they brought him out to Hollywood to write movies, and he's hired by this movie studio to write like a low-budget wrestling movie. So I don't know where to start. So let me get into the cast. So it has John Turturro and John Goodman, but it also has Michael Lerner, who plays the studio exec. Judy Davis, she was in um, Naked Lunch. John Polito, who's been in most Coen Brothers films, and I remember him from The Crow. Tony Shalhoub is in here. Richard Portnow, who I looked up, and he's been in TV movies since the 80s till now, but he played Howard Stern's father in Private Parts, and he was great. He's in The Spirit. He's in Seven. He was in Kindergarten Cop, but he's been in so much. And then Chris Murney, who I only know, he's Eddie Arcadian in The Last Dragon, and he plays him and Portnow play detectives, and they're great. I'll get to them. So Barton Fink, he's just like a nerdy, nebbishy, intellectual writer type. He's always going on about how pure writing is, or how he wants to write about the common man and things that mean. He's very idealistic about his writing. And then he writes one sentence for the wrestling pick, and he gets writer's block, and he's freaking out. Doesn't know what to do. Like, he has meetings. He has a meeting. I don't know what to do this. He can't write. He has a meeting with like an agent who works for the studio or some executive. He's having meetings with Michael Lerner's character, Mr. Lipnick, I think his name is, and he's great. Everybody's great in this. So they tell him go talk to another writer. So he goes talk to this writer who he thinks is like one of the best, like the greatest American writer at the time. And he learns the guy's just an alcoholic scumbag, weirdo, freak, and it's don't meet your heroes type of thing. Which really I thought that had more to do with the movie, but it doesn't. And then one day, John Goodman's character Charlie, like he's like, I gotta go, Barton, because they've built a friendship. Like, it seems like there are only two people in the hotel where, and I forgot. Oh my God, the bellhop is Mr. Pink from Reservoir. I can't remember his name. So Mr. Pink, you know who he is. And Charlie, hopefully I remember his name. Charlie tells Barton that he's got to go, work. He's got to go sell insurance. And Barton, he freaks out. He's like, "You're my only friend here." And he starts crying. And he's like, "I need your help. Please don't leave." And Charlie's like, "I'll be back, Barton. Just, hold tight." And then the detectives show up, Michael Portnow and Chris Murney, and they're awesome. They're perfect. You could make a detective movie with them, like some hard-boiled murder mystery with almost any character in here, and they're so cool. They're so good. It's weird how the character Chris Murney, who played Eddie Arcadian in Last Dragon, he's like short. I think he's either my height or shorter. Which is pretty short, but he's got a suit, like a 1940 suit. He's smoking a cigarette. He has like even though you see how short he is, he's got like an air about him. Like he has a commanding presence. Just his body movement, and Michael Portnow is great, and he's so rude to Barton Fink. So I guess because they think because turns out Charlie is his real name is Munt, Madman Munt they call him, and they're all he likes to perforate victims with a shotgun and then cut their heads off. Now where are the heads, Fink? And they're just pressuring Fink, and he doesn't, he didn't know, he had no idea Charlie was a serial killer, and they're just so mean to him. And they're real racist towards him. They're all, are you a Jew? You're a Jew, right, Fink? And he's like, yes. I knew this place had no standards, and I was like, man. But yeah, they're great. And then Tony Shalhoub, he's like an executive for this movie studio. I'm still trying to remember Mr. Pink's. Oh, let me look at front. Gosh darn. Oh, Steve Buscemi. Sorry. He's a bellhop in here, and he's got just a tiny part. I thought his part was bigger. So where was I? Yeah, the cops, the detectives, they tell Fink, they're watching him and they're looking for Charlie because they think Barton's in on it. And then Barton has like not a final, but a meeting because he can't write. He has a meeting with Michael Lerner's character, and like they finally, like this whole time, Lipnick has been nice to him, saying, we appreciate the artists, we love writers, this town is built on writers. And then when they realize he can't he's not producing anything, he really lets him have it. And then he goes back to the hotel, and the detectives are there. And then Charlie shows up, and he pulls that shotgun, like a double barrel, out of his bag and blows Portnow away. It's pretty brutal. It's not like you don't see blood and guts, but you see impact and you see a little bit of blood. And then Chris Murney's character starts running away. He's running down the hall, and it's kind of scary. I thought when Goodman is running down the hallway and it's on fire. I don't know why it's on fire. I thought maybe he set the fire. And he's running down the hallway with a shotgun. He's like, oh, kind of like screaming like he does in Raising Arizona. Then he shoots Eddie Arcadian in the back of the legs, and he puts the barrel right on the bridge of his nose, and he's all Heil Hitler, and blows him away. You don't see it though; you just hear it. And Eddie Arcadian lets out this scream, and boom. Then he just goes in and talks to Barton, tells him he doesn't listen because Charlie would always try to tell. He's all, man, I got some stories to tell you, and Fink would always cut him off. And then Goodman's character just walks into his room while the building's burning. And Fink leaves, and he goes to, or maybe it's after this. He has another meeting with the head of the studio, and they just tell him how terrible he is, and that the studio owns him. They own anything he writes for like the next couple of years, for as long as his contract is, and they'll never publish. They'll never make a movie out of anything he writes, but they're gonna own it. So I was like, man, that sucks. And then it just ends. He goes, sits on the beach, and he sees a lady, and she's in the pose that there was a picture on his wall. And it ends. It's 2 hours. It was great. It's really weird. At times I was like, this is like, we're treading in Lynch territory. I don't know what else, but it was really good. And did they say, like, in all of the Coen Brothers films that Steve Buscemi is in, they kill him. They don't show it in here. I guess you're to assume that Charlie killed him and when he came in, but you never see his body, or I didn't. I never hear like a off-screen like shotgun blast to signify like another kill. And maybe they did he did kill him, or he did get killed, or they just say he died or something. But I don't think he died in this. Oh yeah, Tony Shalhoub. Yeah, let me talk about Tony Shalhoub. He kind of reminded me of Mark Ruffalo because he's really young in this. I don't know how old he was, but he doesn't look young, but he's way younger than like Monk time, and he's great. He's like talks in that snappy, like what you think, like 30s, 40s, 50s speak. He looks cool. He's funny. He's eating and the food's like falls out of it. Not a lot, but it's hanging, and he just keeps on talking. Him and again, like they could have made a movie from the detectives. They could have made a movie about Shalhoub's character. So yeah, I'm glad I watched it. Would I watch it again? I don't know. It's only because I have so many movies that I've purchased that I need to watch all these, and then maybe when I get through all these, I can rewatch stuff. It's a solid 2 hours, but never felt it, and never. I watched it all the way through. Lately, I've been watching in like 30-minute increments or 45. Just because I want to concentrate on the movie. Sometimes I don't know. I'm sure it happens to everyone. You kind of just lose you stop focusing on the movie and you lose. I don't want to lose details. I did go to the bathroom and to pee, but I could still hear it. I didn't really, I guess. But it's not like you have to follow every little thing. It's not like a Mission Impossible movie, which you don't really have to follow those either. But like if you might miss a piece of vital dialogue. But if you haven't seen Barton Fink, definitely see it. It's better than Color of Money. So I'll give it a solid 4. And plus it's about a writer. I do my zine. That's kind of writing. And again, John Turturro was great. I think when I see him in a Transformers movie, I was like, dude, you were in Barton Fink. You were fantastic. You're awesome. Like he delivers so much like humanity and this weakness. Maybe I'm missing other stuff he did, but he should have been why wasn't he a huge star? I guess maybe just because he looks weird. He's kind of got an Eraserhead, character vibe to him.